My name is Carolyn, and I talk to the spirit world. Travel with me to a dimension filled with love, light, and joyful surprises. Welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom.
Hi everybody, welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. As you know, this is my very first show and I cannot tell you how thrilled and excited I am to be with you today and to talk about all things psychic. So what to expect from this program? We're going to do a little bit of tarot. I'm going to talk a little bit about things psychic. And I'm going to then present an interview with a beautiful friend of mine who is a Reiki master and healer. Maybe you'd like to know about healing, about Reiki, about energy work. And then in the last 10 minutes, I'm going to give one lucky person a psychic reading who calls in. And during the interview segment, I'll put that number up. So stay tuned and get ready. All right, so today I thought first of all I'd talk a little bit about the season that we're in. Obviously it's spring, and what does that mean in terms of sort of a metaphysical point of view? For our spring, we're looking at new beginnings, we're looking at buds, we're looking at things sprouting up and starting, and this is an excellent time for you to begin to harness the energy of nature, to think about how you might want to start a new project, start a new adventure. Even though it's still sort of cold out and hopefully won't snow anymore, it is nonetheless spring. Another important factor is that there is a new moon coming on Sunday. Sunday, 9:57 p.m. The new moon begins. Why is this important? Well, we live in this super modern society. People have their 24-hour cycles. Some people sleep all day and work all night. We have lights, we have technology. So maybe you may think that the cycle or rhythms of the moon no longer affect us. But this is not true. The moon controls the tides. The moon controls many of our interactions, including within our bodies, which is another whole conversation. But for now, I wanted to talk for you a little bit about the new moon. There's a new moon coming, and the new moon is a great time for you to set an intention for something that you would like to start and work on for the next 2 weeks until the full moon, when it comes to fruition. So if you have a short-term goal that you've been thinking about sort of amping up, this is a great time to use the energy of nature to bring it forward. And it's as simple as finding a quiet place, writing down your intention, speaking it out loud, and then every day put that piece of paper where you wrote it someplace up on your refrigerator. Talk about it every day, give it a little energy, and you'll be surprised. Within 2 weeks, when the full moon comes on the 29th, you will actually have made some progress toward that goal. So that's my first suggestion for you. To help you kind of getting into the spirit of connecting with energy and how we use energy, I wanted to talk a little bit about this beautiful tarot deck. This tarot deck is called the Akashic Records Tarot, and I thought it'd be fun to pull a card for us today and see what the tarot may have to say about our day today. Obviously, we have a ton of people watching this, and if I were really to do a tarot reading for you, it would be for you individually. But nonetheless, as a collective, what does the tarot have to say for today? So I'm going to go in this deck here. I'm going to just kind of randomly shuffle through and pull out a card. And let's see what's up. What does the tarot have to say? So I'm going to pick this card here, which is Uriel and the Sphinx. I hope that you can see it. I think that I have another better camera here on which I can show you. See? Uriel and the Sphinx. So this is our card for today. What does it mean? The Sphinx, as everyone knows, is a card of mystery. And Uriel is an angel, an archangel. And this is a card about mysterious beginnings. I think it also kind of connects to our whole theme of nature and newness and new moon. You have mystery, you have new beginnings, you have the Sphinx. This is a great time to tap into your subconscious, to tap into some of that psychic wisdom that we all have. I'm hoping this is going to be a good card for me, to help me to connect with my inner wisdom, to be able to offer you my highest and best when the time comes to do readings later in the day. So Uriel and the Sphinx, a card of mystery and magic. And I'm certainly wishing you mystery and magic today. To carry on, we're going to now take a look at an interview that I did with a wonderful friend of mine. This woman's name is Elise Brenner. She's a wise woman, a healer, and a Reiki master. I did this little interview. She is in this moment planning an enormous conference of Reiki practitioners, which is going to take place on the 29th of April. And so I asked her to talk a little bit about Reiki, about what it is, about the conference that she's doing. And while this interview is running, I am also going to put up on the screen the phone number. If you have a question, and it needs to be a sincere question, which can be answered quickly, and I will do my best to answer it for you after this interview. So stay tuned for just 1 second, and Elise Brenner is coming right up.
Hi everybody, this is Carolyn Wilkins, and I'm here with one of my favorite people in the universe. Please give a warm welcome to Elise Brenner from Brenner Reiki Healing. And I brought Elise here to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom to talk a little bit about what she does. Elise is a Reiki practitioner who has been practicing Reiki for many, many years and is now a board member of the Celebration of Reiki, an important community outreach group. And I'm going to ask her to talk a little bit. First of all, Elise, welcome.
Thank you, Carolyn, and I'm delighted to be playing in your playroom today. Thank you for thinking of me and including me in a conversation about Reiki.
Cool.
Let's play.
Yay! So, Elise, tell me a little bit about, first of all, what is Reiki for people who don't know? Tell us a little bit about it.
Thanks, Carolyn. So, I think that some of us are living, waiting for the next shoe to drop. A lot of uncertainty swirling around us. We may face catastrophes and crises, or just kind of a slow drip, drip, drip of, misfortune, us, the children, the work, the partners. And these really do take a toll on our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health and well-being.
True words there.
So, Carolyn, Reiki is a healing and meditation practice, and it facilitates health, mindfulness, well-being, and resiliency so that we can navigate through these drip, drip, drip misfortunes, these crises, things coming at us from the left and right. So Reiki is a healing and meditation practice to bring out the qualities and the values that lie deep within us that we really want to bring out. It is both practitioner directed and recipient directed. As practitioner directed, you could choose to lie on a Reiki table and receive a Reiki treatment or a Reiki session from a Reiki practitioner. But it's also a self-directed practice where you can learn for yourself the Reiki meditations and place the hands on the self for self-healing.
Cool. So basically, when we think of Reiki, for people who don't know anything about it, although it can be given other ways, it's usually thought of as a hands-on healing thing. Would that be right?
Yes, it's a hands-on or slightly off the body.
Okay.
And the recipient can still join the practitioner with some meditative breathing exercises as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you got into this thing. How did you even start doing it? How long, without embarrassing you, we don't want to speak about numbers of years, but roughly, how long have you been doing this?
We don't want to speak about numbers. About a decade and a half.
Okay. And how did you first find out about it?
Well, this is an interesting story, and I hope your audience is full of acceptance and non-judgment. I am the last person anyone would expect to be drawn to Reiki practice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very scientific, skeptical person, not a cynical, but a skeptical person.
Okay.
But about 16 years ago, I had a kind of a spiritual or metaphysical experience.
Nice.
Following that, there was a series of coincidences about Reiki, which I had never heard of. And it was one after another after another.
Okay.
And so I said, I think I'm supposed to pay attention to this.
Drawn into it.
I was drawn into it.
Got it.
Yeah. And I
You've never looked back.
Never looked back, but I'd never expected to be, like, for example, I took a level 1 Reiki training, never expected to go further. And then here I am, much further, very deepening the practice.
So tell me, now I want to ask you a little bit about, I know that you do a lot of work with educating people about Reiki, both in your community and even statewide and region-wide. And I'm going to skip to the thing, you have a big event upcoming on the 29th of April. And maybe if you could just tell our audience a little bit about that. And after this interview segment, audience folks, I will be giving out even a little more information about it so that you can Google it and check it out because it might be a fun thing to go to. But anyway, tell me about your big event, Elise.
So there's an organization that I founded 6 or 7 years ago called Celebration of Reiki. 4 years ago, we became a nonprofit organization, Carolyn.
Nice.
And we are a Reiki educational organization to bring continuing education to Reiki practitioners. And we are an outreach Reiki organization to bring Reiki practice to any individual, family, community group, business, organization, support group that wishes to benefit from Reiki for well-being and resilience. And we have an annual conference. We're up to our 6th one coming up in a few months on April 29, the Celebration of Reiki 6th Annual Conference. We also feature a yearly symposium, which happens in November. The symposium is on one topic. For example, this past year it was caring for individuals with chronic health conditions. Last year it was trauma-informed Reiki care. The conferences are bigger events with a major keynote speaker followed by lots of breakout sessions. We have 250 Reiki practitioners who come and they engage in learning, teaching, participating, networking,
Fabulous.
and kind of allowing them to have skills and confidence and competence in bringing Reiki to their communities, to their practices, to their volunteer settings.
Nice.
Yes.
That is totally exciting, and that is happening on the 29th of April, right?
Right, that's a Sunday at the, am I allowed to say where?
Yes.
It's at the Boston Marriott in Newton, over on the Charles River.
Fabulous. And so the event is called Celebration of Reiki. And so if you are, I would say this event is more for practitioners of Reiki. Is that correct? People who are already?
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt. Although that is correct, that it's largely for practitioners of Reiki. Every year we get interested members of the community.
Nice.
Who just want to be part of it and explore and investigate. They're open, and we warmly welcome all members of the community.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
So if you're curious about Reiki, and I'm just going to quickly summarize because believe it or not, we're almost out of time. But if you're curious about Reiki, which is a lovely hands-on method of alternative healing, to put it in a very simple, generalized way, and you would like to find out more about Elise Brenner or about the celebration of Reiki, feel free to Google them and you will find out a ton. Elise has a ton of information on her website in more detail about Reiki, about her community outreach programs, and about the celebration of Reiki. So Elise, I want to thank you warmly. It was short but sweet, and
So sweet.
really, really appreciate your coming to play with me today on the Playroom.
Thank you for romping with me
Yay!
too.
We're gonna romp.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, Elise, and we will talk again soon.
Warm regards.
So that was Elise Brenner. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't see that we have anyone phoning in who's brave enough to get a reading today. Okay, that's all right. I made an alternative plan thinking that it might take a little bit for people's comfort level to reach the point where they want actually to receive a reading on the air. So I think what I'd like to do for a minute is, first of all, just to camp onto a little bit of what Elise was talking about in terms of celebration of Reiki and Reiki. I'm also a Reiki healer, and I can't think of a more wonderful practice. If you've never received a Reiki treatment, you really should try one. There are many practitioners in the area. Celebration of Reiki has plenty listed, and it's a great way. It's not a massage. You sit or lie down fully closed. The practitioner gently touches you only a little bit, and what happens is an energy transfer. Something that's hard to speak about and sounds a little wacky and loony, but actually, in fact, works. It's something you have to kind of experience in order to be able to talk about it. So I will say, don't knock it if you haven't tried it. So that's for Reiki. I also want to talk a little bit about what I do. And I'm hoping that as the months pass, this program is going to come second Thursday of each month at this time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And I'm hoping that as you get to know me and get to trust me a little bit, you'll feel a little more comfortable to call in and get your reading, because I know you're out there and I can see people going, well, maybe next time, well, maybe not now. So let me tell you a little bit about what I do. I think one of the big problems is that psychics and mediums and people who do energy healing and all this kind of work have really gotten a bad name. And perhaps some of that is justified. I'll be frank, there are a lot of frauds out there. There are a lot of hustlers and rip-off artists, and anyone who tells you, you know, you have a hex on you, somebody is going to kill you or a member of your family unless you give them money to remove the hex, someone who tells you your aura is black but I can take the spell off, all of that kind of stuff, those should be signs that make you go, ah, let me out. Do not give money to people like that. A true psychic is someone who talks soul to soul with you and is only interested in bringing through information that serves the highest good, both for you and for them. Anything that is not on that high level is not something that you want to deal with. Yes, psychics do charge money. They have to eat just like anyone else. They have bills to pay. And for a good psychic or medium, you should expect to pay a reasonable fee. However, it should never be a fear-based kind of system where they try to get you all anxious and worked up, and if you don't give them money right away, something terrible is going to happen to you. If people are running that kind of game for you, it is not real and you need to walk away. I will say this about myself. It is very important to me that I bring the highest and best integrity to this work. So whatever happens, if you do call in for a reading with me sometime in the future, it will always be coming from the highest and best plane. I'd like to talk for a moment about mediumship as well, okay? Because this is another area that's a little murky. There's a lot of stuff on TV about, you know, ghost whisperers and poltergeists and creepy, haunty kind of entities, and, you know, people get very, it can be a very fearful kind of energy around all of that. Once again, a true medium is only interested in connecting you with your deceased loved ones for the highest and best possible energy. If your Uncle Henry was not, you know, a creepy, frightening, horrible demon person when he was alive, he's not going to be that when he's dead. Although TV shows have made it appear that it's very common that if you contact the dead, it's going to be some kind of terrifying, horrible experience. The reality is that talking to the dead, for the most part, is very much in the same vein as talking to these people when they were alive. My job as a medium is to quiet myself, to prepare myself, and believe me, I have trained actually for several years to do this work, and I'm still training now. I quiet myself to receive impressions, and it's not that I actually see an actual spirit. Every once in a while I'll get a flash, but for the most part what happens is through a form of kind of spiritual telepathy, I will receive an impression in my mind that drops in my mind, or I will feel a feeling, and I will know, because I've trained to do this, that this is not me feeling, this is not me, Carolyn, feeling, this is something that has come from another plane into this world. And usually they come to talk to their loved ones. I don't just bring through random people. I'm bringing through someone that you recognize, that you know, and someone who had love for you when they were here on the earth plane, and they have love for you now from the spirit world. So this, contrary to the way that it's portrayed, is about love. It's about true connection. It's about love. And so I have given you my little brief introduction to mediumship, a brief introduction to the kind of work I do. I hope that next month you will join me again. It'll be May the 10th, 6:30. If in the meantime you have a question you want to ask me, you can write to Psychic Playroom and you can get the information, and we hope that I will see you at that time. And in the meantime, I'm going to sign off. The email address is psychicplayroom@gmail.com. psychicplayroom@gmail.com. Please write me your questions, your comments, your concerns, and I hope you've enjoyed this, my very first but certainly not my last program. Thank you, everybody. Peace out.